Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, you're beautiful. Nah, let me stop. Now I ain't gonna steal Mr. Hotspot stuff. Nah, for real. But what's up, everybody? It's episode 9, season 2, going strong. Welcome to PSA. PSA stands for Project Story of Attestations, which is an unconventional podcast that challenges the audience to think outside the box using real-life experiences, clever narratives, original quotes, and the creative use of satire in order to break the audience free from negative paradigms and push them towards their own personal growth. This is by no means a method to condemn or bash the audience, but instead encourage and showcase different perspectives that might not have been seen before while still growing myself. PSA is designed to showcase to the listeners that the power of the mind is not a joke, and if a person can learn to control their mind and their thoughts, they will ultimately control their life. So everybody good? Y'all good? All right, y'all. I want y'all to zone in and focus on today's episode because today's episode is titled Ferragamo Focus. And the meme reads, if distractions didn't come, how would you really know if you were focused or not? The inspiration comes from my boy again. Here another episode. He inspired me. Guap Dad 4000. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you need to. We know him as the Balenciaga Bank Bandit, the Ferragamo Falcon. I think I said in one episode I was the Prada Panther, but you know, Ferragamo Focus. Basically, just making a joke of me telling you what you need to have and basing off of his jokes that he make, and then and combining it with focus to make it like funny, but at the same time, you know, something that you need to learn to do if you don't already. And I know this generation, and especially even myself, it's hard to focus. Feeling like distractions have been plaguing me. That's another inspiration because they have, and you know, you got to fight through distractions no matter, because you got to keep your eye on the prize at all times. Procrastination and laziness. I've done episodes on each separately. Procrastination, I did one episode 10, season 1. Laziness was episode 4, season 2. So you can go listen to those. But I'm just only touching on those a little bit today. And lastly, the last piece of inspiration for today comes from Cindy Trimm's book, Dr. Cindy Trimm's book, The Soul Fast. And I got a lot of gems from that book. And her tagline is, y'all, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you. Now, that's deep, ain't it? That's good. That's real good. Nah, all right. So let's jump into the story time this week. This week's story time is titled Honed In, Zoned In. Lawrence was a well-known entrepreneur. He had several businesses, a man of many hats. Most people wished to be like him, but they lacked one thing: focus. His focus was like no other. Whenever he had a girlfriend, he didn't entertain other women like most dudes because he didn't believe in multitasking. This was even the case while in working his jobs. One thing at a time until it was done. And the height of one of his jobs that was prospering, he was hit with a lawsuit by a company as well as a fallout with a longtime friend. He was sad and frustrated, but he knew he still had to keep working and fighting through. There was even a time when things like this would have caused him major grief, depression, and he even shut down on everything and everyone for days, not eat or anything. But after learning to reprogram his mind and focus his eye on the prize, things shifted and so did his life to success. All right, y'all. So now somebody did say they was like, I feel like your story start getting real good, and then you just cut them off. Again, we doing it because of the podcast thing, but trust me, I'm gonna give y'all what y'all want with a story, and it's gonna be something that's gonna have y'all on the edge of y'all seat every doggone page. Okay, but the lessons from this story are: Lawrence was so focused that nothing took his eye off the prize, and that's the goal. Like, things are gonna happen, and like I said in the inspiration and in the meme, you're gonna be hit with distractions. Distractions are gonna come because they're going to see if you on task or not, and it's going to try to throw you off. And that's when you have to make sure that you are focused and that you are on the right path, because if not, then you're going to fall off. And then everything is just going to go downhill. He understood that distractions will present themselves when you're on the right track. And the key thing I think that needs to be taken away from this story is that his mind was reprogrammed. Nobody's programmed with just focus. So if you feel like, oh, I'm just not focused, it's okay, because or you're not just, manually just focused on everything, and it's easy for you to just stay on one task at all times. So a lot of people have trouble focusing, especially with this day and age. But we're going to break that down as I go into it today. All right, so real quick, it says, what does focus mean? It always comes with the definitions. This is the center of interest or activity, the state or quality of having or producing clear visual definition. In other words, to concentrate. Now watch this. Every 15 out of 20 people lack focus. Now, you're probably saying, where did you get that from? I actually did a survey of my own, and I asked people if they could focus or had trouble focusing, and most people responded, hell no. So, based on successconsciousness.com, there are a few things that people say about lack of concentration. And these are a few things people say, and I'm sure you probably didn't say them because I know I didn't say them before at some point. I try to concentrate, but I soon find myself thinking about something else. My mind keeps going from one thought to another. I lack concentration. I am unable to focus my mind on one thing for more than a few seconds. I often procrastinate because I cannot focus for long and then drop what I'm doing. Now, let me say this, because again, it could be something more deeper than that. Some of y'all might have ADD or ADHD and stop taking y'all medicine. Matter of fact, I ain't going to say some of y'all might, because I know some of y'all do. Some of y'all have told me that. So I know that's the case in some regards. However, here's the thing. I low-key feel like I should have got diagnosed because like I be feeling just like my attention span is hella short. And at this point, I don't know if it's too late. I'll try to get the delusional check. I'll try to get a check for ADD too. I don't think they get checks for that. I don't know. One of y'all that work in that field that can tell me that, and email me and let me know, so then we can set something up. So again, I can secure the bag. But either way, if y'all just can't focus and it might be a medical thing, go to a doctor or professional. Also, I get people love smoking, but if you need to rely on a substance to focus or concentrate, then that's a problem right there. So don't think that, oh, well, yeah, I can focus when I smoke. No. You need to get to the point where you can focus sober. You don't need a substance to get you to focus unless, again, it's from a professional. And I'm just throwing that out there right now because then it's just like, what if you ain't got no weed? Or what if, the drug... it's just a lot of factors you can go into that. And realistically, the way this world is going, we'll always be able to get hold of some weed. But at the same time, you shouldn't be like, oh, let me go roll this joint or let me go hit this. It's just not that deep. It's not. I'm sorry. So now, you might lack focus for several reasons. And so... based on myself and the things that I know, as well as health24.com, these are some reasons that people might lack focus. The first one is depression. This is a lack of focus and concentration among more than common symptoms of depression. Major depression can sometimes make it impossible to work or study effectively and may require medical treatment. So again, you being depressed, that's a major reason to be unfocused, because it's like you sad, you focusing on whether it be whatever you depressed about. So that leads to the next point, which is sleep deprivation. Disturbed sleep can lead to a lack of focus the following day. Prolonged sleep disturbances may require doctor's visits to uncover and treat any underlying cause. So again, with that one, I know a lot of people don't sleep, and I know at this age we can kind of get away with it. We can kind of just not sleep or go only 4 hours of sleep. I know people that run off 4 hours of sleep every day, all day. But that could be contributing to your major lack of focus. So that might be something that needs to be adjusted. Heavy alcohol or drug abuse. Dependency on alcohol or recreational drugs may cause the brain to function less than optimally. Even prescribed medication may have this effect, so check with your doctor. And that's another thing I need to ask. Get a damn doctor. People, for some reason, just go out here and don't have no doctor. Not going to say if you're in the process of getting a new one, but people really be bragging about not going to the doctor like that's cool. And then you got these people out here coming out talking about some, oh, I never went to the doctor. Now I just found out I got cancer. Something that could have been treated, probably 20 years ago if you would, not even, I ain't going to say 20, that's extreme, but maybe like at least 5 years ago, something you could have been working on earlier, but now see it and turned to full-blown cancer because you didn't sat up and waited because you don't like going to the doctor. For women, hormonal changes. While the effect of pregnancy on the brain is a subject of debate among experts, many women report forgetfulness and focus problems in the later months. So, maybe you're pregnant. Sometimes your stomach don't always say you're pregnant. I don't know. This is just what I heard. Another one. This one is, I know everybody can for sure relate to this one. Financial reasons. Now look, y'all. Rick Ross said it best. Being dead broke is the root of all evil. Now, although this might not necessarily be true, being broke and not responsible with money can make it hard to focus on your goals, relationships, spiritual life, discipline, among other things. And when you want to do stuff, but you can't, especially at this young age, I know a lot of us don't have kids and we in our 20s, early 20s, maybe late 20s, whatever, early 30s, whatever. And some of us don't have kids yet, or some of us do have kids and still want to do stuff. We can't because we don't have no money. And a lot of it comes from how we budget with our money, because when you learn how to truly budget, and I taught that not going to say taught that, but I gave a few tips that I know worked for me, as well as in like episode 2, season 2. So go back and listen to that one. The next one is hyperactive, and that's the proper term because I call it scatterbrain, and it's something I kind of have issues with at times, and it's basically your brain is all over the place. And we witness more data, more web pages, more TV shows, more cars, more video games, more rapid fire instant gratification technology every day. So it makes it easy for your mind to be all over the place. And the last one is distractions. And distractions are not just TV and your Twitter. Distractions can come in the form of people, other methods that you feel might work, something else that needs to be done that you place in front of other stuff. So in the story you heard me mention, he didn't multitask, and that was the key word. So I'm going to get into that a little later too, but definitely multitasking is something that people brag about being able to do. And you have to, in some instances, multitask, but if you don't have to, let's get to the point where we don't. We just finish one thing at a time. Now, distractions are very real. When you are on the right track, I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. Be prepared for an attempt to be thrown off, kind of like a test. So here's some examples of distractions. So the first one, and I love saying this one, your feelings. People don't realize your feelings are a major distraction if not controlled. Now, a lot of y'all feel like we are supposed to have emotions, but I feel like y'all emotions have y'all. Because y'all are just too emotional. And at the end of the day, it's a process. The first process is acknowledging that you're too emotional, but we have to do something about it. And I like that a lot of the people are now starting to acknowledge things that they do, but then it's kind of like they get stuck there. Okay, this is this, so what are you going to do to fix it? That's where we at now. Either way, from Cindy Trimm's book, The Soul Fast, feelings can draw you closer to God and compel you to do good or distract you. So that's something to think about. And again, your feelings are very distracting. The next one is your thoughts. Now this another quote, the subconscious mind is more able to influence impulses of thought mixed with feeling or emotion than by those originating solely in the reasoning portion of the mind. So if your thoughts are uncontrolled, be prepared for you to be distracted. If you sitting there doing something, doing a paper, working on a draft or something, or coming up with a business scheme, or whatever you doing, and you just start thinking about what somebody said about you or what somebody said to you, and you just get, whether good or bad, and you just get to thinking about it and pondering, and the next thing you look up, it's been 15 minutes that went by. Trust me, it didn't happen to me. So I can speak on it. So that's an example of that. The next one is people. Again, y'all don't know if y'all seen the meme. It was like when the devil can't reach you, send somebody into your life. But nah, for real. Like whether that be a friend, an old friend that you didn't cut off because they was toxic to you, or an ex. It's going to be somebody sent to your life that's going to distract you, and they're going to keep you out. Your feelings going to be too much involved in them. And man, it's just like you ain't going to never be on task. You're going to say you're going to start your assignment. They hit you up like, let's go get some chicken, or so let's go get some ice cream or something. And you drop everything you're doing to go see them. And then you doing all this. You ain't even smashed yet. So how you doing all this and you ain't even smashed yet? But again, that's a topic for another day. Another one is a simpler one, and that's noise. Some people do different with noise. I mean, I feel like some people say they can multitask with the TV on and do work with TV on, but I'm at the point now where I can't. Like, I could for a long time, but now I kind of just have to sit in silence. But some people work better with noise, so it just depends on who you are and what noise affects you. The next one, again, briefly, social media. We know we can be on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat for 10 minutes, and then we look up, it's been 4 hours. So, there's that. Being hungry. Look. I can't do nothing if I don't eat. Everybody know I transform, and not in a good way, when I don't eat. Like, attitude be on 1,000. So if you hungry, go eat. Don't try to do nothing when you ain't hungry. While you hungry, because it's just gonna make stuff worse. And the last one touched on it, but really going into it, another one example of a distraction is multitasking. Accomplish one thing first. And according to an article on entrepreneur.com, when multitasking is the norm, your brain quickly adapts. You lose the ability to focus as distraction becomes a habit. We've trained our brains to be unfocused, Rock says. Practice concentration by turning off all the distractions and committing your attention to a single task. Start small, maybe 5 minutes per day, and work up to larger chunks of time. If you find yourself wandering, just return to the task at hand. It's just like getting fit. You have to build the muscle to focus. So remember, your brain is a muscle, and again, you have to build that up too. Start with little stuff, and then just kind of go up. The ability to focus is a habit of mind. Paying attention can be extremely hard. Now, there are a few tips to improve your focus and your concentration. And again, this comes from Psychology Today from William R. Clem. And again, I will always give my commentary just to kind of give a different feedback to the situation. So one thing he said is to value attentiveness. Realize that you create your personal reality by what you pay attention to. All of us get much less out of life than we could because we are not paying attention. So, like I stated earlier in the story, if Lawrence would have focused on the fallout with his friend and he would have focused on something happened with his business, then that's what he would have got. But instead, he chose to divert his focus to just let me focus all my attention to my job and to this, so then that way he wouldn't get distracted. And that goes for you too. If you are at a place, or you are in a place or at a literal place, and you see somebody that you see an ex or somebody, and yet you at a party and you see your ex walk in. Okay, you could easily lose focus and be like focusing on them, but just try to remember and get your mind to realize why am I here? Realize why you at that party. You at your party for your homegirl, your homeboy. So focus at why you there, and just make sure that you don't get caught up in the drama that they might try to bring. Because again, when distractions come, their person's gonna bring something if it's a person. So be prepared for that. The next one is this one I'm really trying to internalize: to live in the now. An expert on philosophy, Eckhart Tolle, says the clock's hands move, but it is always now. Grab the present intensely. You cannot know the future, and you cannot redo the past. You can correct for the past weaknesses and mistakes and reduce their likelihood in the future, but it has been done now. So again, accept what has been done, but live in the current moment. I feel like a lot of times we get so caught up in our futures and what's going to happen that we miss out. And I know for many years, I feel like I missed out on so much stuff in the now that I did have to live in the past, because it was so many things that I didn't enjoy in the time because I was too busy worried about the next day or the future. So don't let your life go by. It's going to be up 30 years and you 50 and like, damn, I had all these good times, but I have to look back and enjoy them because I didn't enjoy them in the moment. The next one is be more aware. Consciously attend to what you are doing, why and how. Be aware of how you feel. Emotions affect the ability to focus. If how you feel interferes with your concentration, change how you feel. It is a choice. Choose a different way to view a situation. If you I'm sorry, y'all have to learn to think outside the box. It's so many people who I feel like are just on a straight and narrow with how they think. And you have to see it from a different angle. Even if a person did something to you, even if something happened at a job, something happened with your car, you have to change your focus. So say, for instance, if your car break down, and it break down on the way to school, on the way to work or something, you could easily be like, oh, today I needed to go be at work today because of this A, B, C, D. But you could say, okay, my car broke down today. Maybe God would save me from a car accident today. You know what I'm saying? You never know. And then that highway I usually take, it was a bad car accident. My car could have flipped over. Or maybe God knew I had the money to get this done today because something was going to come up later that I wasn't going to have the money for. So it's just shifting your focus. The next one, again, don't multitask. This is an arch enemy of attentiveness and profoundly interferes with the ability to learn and especially to remember. Multitasking creates a superficial way of thinking that also impairs the ability to think deeply in intellectual demanding situations. Now, look, y'all, I had wondered recently, I'm like, why is my attention span? Well, my attention span always been short, but it seems like I've been having like short-term memory loss, like on some dementia stuff, which I know I don't have dementia, but everybody know my long-term memory loss is ridiculous because I literally remember everything. I remember shit from when I was like 4 vividly. So I feel like I know I've been a multitasker, and that's something I'm definitely stopping because I've learned recently that it's best to just focus on one thing and I don't try to do multiple things at once, because it might seem like you're getting a lot done, but when you think about it, if you really look at it like this, if you're working on 4 projects at once, and now 5 hours went by, and yeah, you might be halfway done on each one, but guess what? You're still not done. Versus you focus one at a time and you finish 1 or 2 completely, versus halfway through done on 4. You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. Again, 5, make emotion work for you. We have emotions for a reason. You're supposed to use them, but you need to develop a passion for what you experience, as that will rivet your attention. Both negative and positive emotions work. The kiss of death for learning is so bored and detached from what you are trying to learn. Ask any school teacher how big a problem that is for many students. So again, you can make emotion work for you. You can change. Again, you just have to flip it. 6, set goals and monitor your progress. Keep track of how your goals are getting done and what adjustments need to be made along the way. So we all have goals. We all have dreams. Again, if you are at a place right now where your dreams and your goals are not accomplished, or you don't feel that you need to be where you want to be, then that's when you need to adjust some things and you need to shift it, because maybe you're focusing on the wrong stuff. Ending off with another quote: people who focus on what they want to get exactly what they want. People who focus on what they don't want get exactly what they don't want. If you focus on problems, hurdles, walls, and obstacles, you will go through your life with problems, hurdles, walls, and obstacles. And that's another quote from Cindy Trimm's book, The Soul Fast. Again, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you. So today we ending off with the question challenge. And this one, I want y'all to do this. If you want to do something that requires you to lose focus, set an alarm. And it's real simple. So say, again, I told y'all a few weeks ago to make sure that y'all have goals set for the day, right? So, okay, so say for instance, you got some projects you need to work, or say you got to clean your room, or say you have even little stuff like that, or you got to do some homework, or you got to do this, what at work, whatever, right? So I want you to set a time to do it. So like say for instance, I'm going to set on your phone, alarm on your phone, but I'm going to do this for an hour, right? You're going to do it for an hour. Then give yourself, if you do want to check your social media, you do want to, just kind of chill for a minute, get your mind to focus on something else, just kind of relax for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Then set your alarm for that. So then like, okay, I got a 5-10 minute break so I can check my phone, I can do whatever. And then as soon as that alarm go off, get back to doing what you need to do. It's real simple, but I'm telling you it's effective. And this ain't even nothing I looked up, y'all. This is just something I've done that worked for me. So how about that? I ain't so dumb after all. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, I hope y'all have a good week. I hope y'all really take heed to all of this today, and y'all stay honed in and zoned in. PSA signing out. Always remember, keep your head up like your neck hurt. Remember who you are and make your mind up. Don't let it make you. See you next week. I got another guest, and it's about to be Liddy.